Hello and welcome to Nerdy Auctions, and we're going to be talking about centering today. To me, centering is like the most important thing. Look at the card. I mean, it's got a perfect 10 centering, so it's going to be beautiful when you look at it. And we got another perfect 10 centering here with a Mox, and it also got a great, beautiful centering. So when you see the card, it's going to be like, that's awesome. It really looks great. And if you get a little bit off, then the card doesn't quite look as good as one with a perfect centering, right? So and when it gets way off, oh my gosh, I mean, it just doesn't look right at all. So that's why centering to me is like the most important critical subgrade that you can have. And we're going to talk about the subgrade of centering. All right, here, let's flip it around. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about centering. The centering of the cards. Alright, here we go. Right now we have the Timberwolf. Right here. He's my grade 10. He's going to be our control. Alright? Because he's going to be the one that's been looked at by Beckett as closely as humanly possible to even assign a grade of 10. Okay? So let's go ahead and measure the bottom. Now, why am I measuring the bottom? Well, so if all the borders are the same, and all the borders are the same on this side, then that should be the qualifications of a 10. Makes sense, right? Sorry about that. All right. So we have our bottom here, about 2 millimeters. Right? Okay, so that's our border. Come over here to the sides. Trying to get less reflection. Well, let's do it this way. Again, about 2 millimeters. It's not going to be the same on the other side. So, flip it around. A little less than 2 millimeters. And up at the top, 2 millimeters. So we pretty much have our border now. Should I get it like this? So the white part's out. Maybe. There. We got our 2 millimeters, right? Yep. There it is. Okay, so that's our 10. So let's go to another 10 to see if it lines up. Oh, this is a 10, by the way. So it lines up. 2 millimeters. Two millimeters. This should be a little less than 2 millimeters. And we have that as well. And up at the top. Do it the other way. So we can see where the line goes. All right. And 2 millimeters. Okay? So we have our borders. Pretty cool. And the reason I like centering is because it is something that you can visually see. Right? You can see it. It's pretty cool. All right, so we have our 10s. Let's see if there's anything different. All right? So let's go with one that is actually different. All right? Now this one has an 8.5 centering. And you can visually see it across here, right? Looks like there's a big border over here. So let's check that. Looks like just a smidge over 2 millimeters. Doesn't look like it's much, but it's just a smidge. And that smidge makes all the difference. However, when we go over, flip it over. Keep forgetting that. It just about has only 1 millimeter over here, where the other one was closer to 2. So that's the reason for the 8.5 centering. Okay? So we can see it, we can measure it, it's a measurable. All right, now let's go ahead and look at this 9, right? It says this is a 9, so there should be a measurable here. But can you see the difference? Maybe. All right, so let's measure it. We've got 2 millimeters. Okay. We've got almost 2 millimeters. And then we have again, it's not quite across the border, right? So this would be a 9. Not quite the 10, but it is a 9. Now, why do I have this one out? This one's a little interesting. Look at this one. It says it has an 8.5 centering. So let's go ahead and check it. Circle protection green. It's typically really hard to get a circle protection green 10 centering. So let's go ahead and measure it. It actually does have 2 millimeters down there, right? You go to the side. Just a smidge under that 2.5, that millimeter mark. Oops. Do it this way. Way I can get the line to line up. All right. So it isn't this border that's causing it to be an 8.5, right? Even though this looks bolder than the other ones, it's not this, it's the cross. And by measuring it, you can tell the difference. Oh, that's sorry. So, however, although it looks bolder at the top, top's fine. Whenever I look at this, I always think that this is the part that's really wrong, but it's not. That's actually the same size as this one. It's an optical illusion. It's actually the sides. However, it shouldn't be an 8.5. In my opinion, this one should be a 9.5 based on these sides. But, you know, again, it's all about opinion. And with measuring of these cards, and you do the same thing on the back, it's the same thing. The whole thing about centering, it's still about perspective. I'm hoping they're using rulers and getting things right, but I don't think when they come to these 9s and that kind of stuff, they're as accurate. Because I believe this one should be a 9.5 centering. I really do. Even though it's labeled an 8.5. And even the back is just fine. It's just about the same. So, you know, it is about perspective. Because it's definitely not an 8.5. You can tell a big difference between these two. Right? Would you say this centering is the same as this centering? I don't think so. Right? If anything, it'll be a 9, right? It makes more sense for this one to be a 9. But they labeled it an 8.5. So it is about perspective when it comes to centering. But centering always, to me, makes the card look really good. So that's why centering is, for me, the most important attribute. However, there are other people like edges, and we're going to go over those too next. All right? Edges, no, well, maybe we'll do corners next. All right, corners next. Be right back. Well, when I filmed the subgrade portion, at that moment, I was actually planning to piece together a whole bunch of them. But as you can see, it went longer than expected. So hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment here on Nerdy Auctions, and I'll get you the other subgrades real soon.